What's up, everybody? This is Matt Monarch with the rawfoodworld.com. I thought I'd come on here and do a live hangout due to all the crazy articles I've been putting out there. The most recent one was called, what was the most recent one called? Haunted by Regret. Haunted by Regret. Let's go look at this. Let me look at if that's what I called it. Social media, Facebook. Okay, so in this article, or whatever you want to call it, I wrote that, here we go. I'm haunted with regret. I did this entire article about being haunted with regret, but at the same time in peace. But that doesn't come across in my writing, the peace part. So like everybody's like freaking out. And yeah, look, I'm getting my prednisone moon face back, everybody. If you can't notice that. But yeah, I'm definitely in peace. And that's the beauty of it all. But what I'm going to do is going to share the story here and just do a live hangout and rock the house here. Okay, so the story, it goes, I've said I was haunted with regret just because I started having flashbacks. I started thinking about, since I'm in a certain situation right now with my health and the drugs I'm taking, I started having flashbacks because it's very similar to what was happening to me before I got the surgery. And if I would have known now, if I would have known then what I know now, things had a chance of being differently. And I might not have needed the surgery. However, that might not have been the case anyhow. So back in the day, before I got my surgery, I was always fighting to go the natural approach. I was always trying to come off the drugs they gave me. I've weaned off prednisone so many times, it's ridiculous because I wanted to try it the natural way over and over again, and I ended up in the ER over and over again. I tried, guys, like I've tried so many times to do it the natural way. Anyway, so here I am propped here up on my bed. I should probably put my shirt down in the back a little more there. Okay. Anyway, so before I got my colon surgery, I was doing all right. I mean, I wasn't doing all right, but like, I was in the ER and they threw me on prednisone IVs that always like fixes me up instantly. And then I went home on prednisone, and the surgeon was trying to get me to do the surgery. He was telling me that all these biologic drugs only last for a certain period of time, and then I'm going to need the surgery anyway. And, you know, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, but later misdiagnosed, and I have something else called Crohn's. So what happened was I finally just broke down because, like, this was my turning point, being in a diaper for so long, trying to come off prednisone, all these different things. I was just like, I'm done here. I'm ready to move on with my life and go on meds. I'm done trying to play a hero for myself and the community and everybody else involved. It wasn't for the community. It was all for me, of course. But I'm just saying, like, I was done. I was ready to get my life back. And I was choosing a biologic called Entyvio. However, my doctor was scared that if I was doing Entyvio along with prednisone, that I would be immunocompromised, and that I could get really messed up, and it was dangerous, is what they said. So they wanted to wean me off prednisone. So they took another biologic drug called Xeljanz that they had as samples, wasn't even prescribed to me. Um, and they gave this to me saying this is a drug that can actually help really quickly, so we could get you off prednisone immediately and we'll wean you off immediately. However, as I started to wean off immediately, um, I was healed over in pain and the Xeljanz wasn't working fast enough. And at this point, I was just like screaming on the couch for hours of the night. I don't like to take pain meds, but they had to put me on, what was it? It's like an in between. It wasn't like as crazy as Xanax or something like that, but it was pretty heavy. It's like one of those things that has acetaminophen in it, but it also had something else. And I was just like screaming on the couch, and I just said, forget it. Like I had to go to, I'm like, I want surgery. I want this to be over. So I went and got elective surgery. This is all because I'm realizing now that if I would have stayed on the prednisone while waiting for the Entyvio to work, this might not have happened, and this is where the regret comes. Now, granted, I went to the doctor and I got colonoscopies, and my colon was a mess. And if I had Crohn's, it's worse than ulcerative colitis. But my colon was a mess, and they're like, he's going to have to get his colon removed. Like the doctor was saying this, not even the surgeon. But they're like, yeah, let's try the Entyvio. And they said, you probably have a 30% chance of it working. And it was something I was willing to do. But I lost that opportunity because I came off the prednisone. So the surgeon, I didn't like his pushing me by saying things like, you're going to end up in this situation in the long run, so you might as well do it now, and it cures you. And it just felt money driven on some end. And what's interesting is now I'm back in the same position because I was misdiagnosed. I got filled with ulcers as soon as I came out, and now I have to be on prednisone, and now they want to put me on a biologic. She wanted to put me down less on prednisone, but the prednisone is saving my life. I was bedridden again just recently. So I'm in the exact same position before the surgery. And now the surgeon is saying, oh, these biologic drugs are really good. It will probably clear up the ulcers in your pouch, my J pouch in my colon that he fixed immediately. So we could postpone the idea of having to get a bag for hopefully many years. So now all of a sudden his tune changed. And also he said, yeah, you know what, we'll take an autopsy of your colon after they removed it. And he said that it's probably a mess and dead and there's nothing we could do with it. So then later after they removed the colon, I'm like, hey, did you ever get that autopsy? He just like kind of blew it off. I asked the GI doctors, they're like, you know, it wasn't as bad as the surgeon was claiming. So he got his money and I got my colon removed. And here I am, misdiagnosed, filled with ulcers again. It took 2 weeks of me coming off of prednisone for it to happen. And now I'm in the exact same position that I'm in right now. So I just ended up in the ER. I was had 2 colonoscopies, which made me bleed, and an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. I probably still have some blood from that procedure. Not too bad as it wasn't. It's not as bad as it was, thank God. But blood would pour into the toilet. So now here I am, in the same exact position, filled with ulcers, but the prednisone kind of looks like healed them all up. And I'm about to go on a biologic again. It was almost like, I wish I had the opportunity to go back and try this exact same thing that I'm doing now with my 30%. I lost that 30% chance. And it's probably likely I would have had to do the surgery, but I'd have a bag now. Now I have a J-POW. I don't know, you know. Firstly, I said I was haunted with regret just because I'm having flashbacks, and I wish I could have taken that opportunity, but I didn't realize that the prednisone at the time was the main factor keeping me from heaving over in pain. If I would have known that I would have been like, I don't care about being immunocompromised. I would have like, my well-being would have been better, and I would have waited for the Entyvio to work for 6 months on this prednisone. I would have taken the risk of taking two immuno drugs, but I lost that chance. That's like and you guys, I'm at peace right now. Like I'm doing good. But I'm back in the same exact situation that I am in. There's no way I'm coming off the prednisone until like I am loaded and loaded with so much Humira, like to the point of like 6 months maybe. I don't even know. I don't know if they're going to allow me to do that. There's a woman, one of my followers, who's in Mexico right now, who I'm hoping is getting me 10 boxes of prednisone, so they don't have a choice. I don't know if it's going to happen, but she said she is looking into it. So, but I will fight the doctors to keep me on prednisone. I just don't want to have to like do that fight. I want to be able to just have the freedom of having the drug just in case I have to fight, and I could do it. But I do think the doctors, after what has happened, will allow me to stay on prednisone for as long as I want, is what I'm hoping. So I'm waiting for the Humira to come through. Hopefully next week. I'm going to call the insurance company tomorrow. That's my big thing for tomorrow. Just to see how I can get that. So, yeah, so I know my letter that I wrote on Facebook sounded like crazy and I was crying and stuff like that, but it was just kind of like tears of like, I'm good, I'm at peace with everything. It's just I just missed that shot, and I have so much faith in Jesus. Like, I know that if this wasn't supposed to happen, that it wouldn't have. That's just like the main thing that keeps me at peace. It is really strong, my faith, and I just know with all my heart that this was meant to happen. So, for whatever reason, so that brings me the most peace, of course. Thank you. And yeah, so here I am getting better every single day, just simply on prednisone, nothing else right now. I'm looking forward to going on Humira just so I could come off the prednisone in the future, hopefully. I don't even know if like wait. Oh yeah, some other things that also have to be notated. Thanks, Jenna. Some other things that also have to be notated when I was a mess, but this was me messing around with prednisone, like not taking it like I should have been, and so I was very malnourished because of the ulcers. I wasn't absorbing food. When I was in that, I should probably write that, I'd make this addendum, like, because this kind of supports the idea that I needed the surgery. I almost needed a PICC line for nutrition. They actually gave me a PICC line in the hospital for nutrition, but so like I wasn't, but maybe if I wouldn't have been messing around and I was on the prednisone, the ulcers would have been gone and I wouldn't have been malnourished like that, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it's all water under the bridge. All I'm saying is if I would have known now, if I would have known before what I know now, I would have had a better chance, I feel like. But I didn't know. So and the doctors have helped me. I mean, they've helped me a lot, and they're really good out here in Florida. And I'm just looking forward to getting off prednisone at some point in the future and having these biologics work. I don't have any experience with the biologics. I'll be very excited if they do work. Also, from being on prednisone for probably on and off and stuff like that, I ended up with osteoporosis. In a guy like me, that is very rare. I had to take this infusion that I'm supposed to do for 5 years to build my bone back. I've done it once, and my next one is probably next month. You could like feel it in your bones. It almost like hurts on some level for a few days. Yeah, so it's been a wild ride. And the doctor, again, was pretty much like, yeah, this guy needs surgery. We could try the Entyvio, but this wasn't the surgeon. This was like the main doctor. So it feels like it was inevitable, but I just missed that small chance. That's the regret right there. This Facebook post, I have a newsletter going out to my newsletter list. I have copied it and put it on my newsletter list. It's going out tomorrow. I'll probably edit it and add some of the things I just mentioned. Yeah, I'm doing great. Like, I'm not like, I tried to explain it in the newsletter, in the post, but people don't, I say I'm in peace, but people don't hear that. And I just stopped reading the comments, guys. I'm just like, I can't, like, I'm just done reading the comments. I skim through them, and then I see the people who I don't want to read, and I kind of just read a little bit of the others and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm pretty much trying, I just said, Anyway, so it's been a wild ride, still walking every single day. There are side effects from the prednisone. I've got the prednisone moon face. My sleep patterns are all messed up. Someone says, you say you're in peace, but in the next sentence you are despairing. Well, what's happening in the next sentence is I'm like going into like a very emotional thing for the first time with other people, and then tears come down my face. It's almost just like an expression of emotion, and then it's gone, and then I'm just back in peace. I mean, I don't really care if people believe I'm in peace or not. Like, that's why I'm not even reading comments anymore. I'm just like living my life in peace. And I'm just like, you guys let your bullshit in your head swirl around as much as you want. I don't really give a shit. Excuse me. I got my life I gotta like watch out for. Sorry. But yeah, so that's just a peaceful thing. I'm not like looking at all the comments like I used to. But I think it's important to put that information out there. And yeah. And of course we gotta talk about all the goods we've got going on at Cost right now. And I'll probably come up with more of my story and stuff as I think about it. Okay, everybody. So right now, we've got pine pollen, which is a personal favorite superfood of mine that is loaded with nourishment it's when you get 3, it's 27. I couldn't believe how well it did today or yesterday when I put the newsletter out. And I'm not surprised at all. It's a really, really good price, and it has more nutrition than you can possibly imagine compared to like any other food. It's got like all the typical vitamins and minerals the human body needs, proteins, all the omega fatty acids, and then it's got all this magical nutrition that you don't normally see in food. Here, I read it in the story. I don't know if you saw it, but it's got all omega 3, 6, and 9 fatty acids, which is pretty crazy. You could it's almost like drinking a green juice in terms of getting nutrients. And after you take it and it has all omega 3, 6, and 9, you're not weighed down at all. It's just like even a green juice, you're more weighed down than pine pollen. You only need a half a teaspoon of the stuff and it just goes right in. And you have all your omega fatty acids, 18 amino acids and protein, vitamin B1, 2, 3, 6, 9, vitamin D even. And the magical ingredients include polysaccharides, MSM, like food has MSM, resveratrol, flavonoids, proanthocyanidins, cyanidins, coenzymes, monosaccharides, phytosterols, powerful enzymes, rutin, bioflavonoids, nucleic acids, polyphenols, natural quercetin, ligands, and many more. And it's got a bunch of those minerals that are hard to get, like zinc. I'm always talking about how zinc's really hard to get. Selenium, molybdenum, calcium, magnesium, silicon, manganese, copper, phosphorus, sodium, potassium, and some vitamins include C, E, A, and inositol. So I'm really excited about it. It's a very nutrient-dense superfood that lasts a really long time. It's only 50 grams, but you only need like a half a teaspoon a day, or if you want to do it, take it twice a day. If you get a 3-pack on our website, they come to 2076. It's like a really good deal at the rawfoodworld.com. And then you just click at the the at cost special category at the very top left. On top of that, our Peruvian olives, I've extended another month because I bought double the amount and they're super fresh and I want everybody to enjoy them. So you might want to get in on that. The Peruvian olives, we've got them in herbed, just Celtic sea salt, and then there's a spiced one called ahi that we're almost out of. And we've got our once a year Ojai Sundried Persimmons. Okay, so Ojai is the epicenter of the world for the best persimmons in the world. And there are two kinds of persimmons. There's the Hychia persimmons and then the Fuji persimmons. The Fujis are more like an apple and they're both really sweet, but the Hychia ones are like the tall ones. And when they ripen, it's just like pure sugar and it's just like a liquid and you just like go and it's just like nectar in your mouth. So these Ojai farmers who grow these persimmons, what they do is they bring these Hychia wet persimmons that are fully ripe. And if they're not fully ripe, they're kind of bitter if you've ever had an unripe Hychia persimmon. They bring them to the desert in Arizona, string them each up individually with a string from like a tree, dry them in the hot desert sun, bring them back to Ojai, and you are literally having these dried persimmons that are sometimes even wet in the middle, just a little bit. I did a video on this with the farmer just recently, not recently, a long time ago, but I have the video on YouTube somewhere. I put it in a video. Oh, it's probably on Facebook. I probably put the whole newsletter on Facebook. It's there. But there's a picture on our website. When you go to the rawfoodworld.com and go to at cost specials, you can see a picture of the persimmons stringed up. And I also, if you look in the description of the product, you'll see more pictures of a customer who like took a bite into one. You'll see like what I'm talking about, how amazing they are. On top of that, at cost this month, we've got the postbiotics, the B12 probiotics, and the probiotic synergy blend. Postbiotics is probably our number one most effective product. It's probably the number one most effective product in the world for the gut. Many women have written in saying that it's helped with like their bloated stomachs. It's taken their IBS away. Just amazing. B12 probiotics has half the amount of B12 a person needs, especially if you're vegan. It's like fermented. And the probiotic synergy blend works in conjunction with the B12 probiotics. In clinical studies, it shows those strains multiply by 10 when mixed with the B12 probiotics. It's pretty cool. That's what we got so far for the month of March. All available at therawfoodworld.com. What else? So Tony's saying she loved the persimmons. They were delicious last time. One customer was like, because I talk about them being sugary, they stated that they're not really that sugary when they're dried like this for some reason. She doesn't get the sugar spike. That's why she didn't buy him the first time, but she just said forget it and got him. And she had no issue with it. So that was pretty cool. Okay. Someone says I'm amazing going through all this and still working. Good for me. Thank you. Someone said, hi, chias are so, so good. Yum, they are. I love those persimmons. I didn't know that those were even until I bought them from you last year. Delicious. Yeah. They just came in. It's just a once in a year thing. Someone says, peace comes from finally accepting your reality. Next comes living with that reality and doing the best you can with your circumstances. You have been through so much and you will help others that might go through the same thing. People are saying, wow. Someone says it's okay to feel vulnerable. Someone says, I believe you're at peace, a peace the world doesn't understand. I should probably not read these because I might respond adversely. Okay. Oh yeah, and then the ionic toothbrush has gone absolutely insane, everybody. I love my new toothbrush. I wish I had bought my husband one too. You just go to rawfoodworld.com and buy another one. The ionic toothbrush is probably one of the most incredible inventions that we have ever seen for our teeth. Not only does it take gingivitis away more effectively in clinical studies compared to like a Sonicare or Oral-B electric toothbrush. This isn't even an electric toothbrush. I just used it. Look how white my teeth are. It makes you want to smile. Everybody's like going nutso with it. Like, here, I'll just get the one I have right here and I'll show everybody how it works. This thing is insane. What it does is it removes plaque through ionic charge. If you notice that metal negative ionic charge, it negatively reacts with the plaque, removing it. It's not even about brushing hard. It's almost like a magnet. It changes the ionic formation, and then look how white my teeth are. And so the way it works is this metal thing does this ionic charge. And what you do is you have to make sure, hopefully, Mom, you're watching, you got to make sure that your finger is wet and this metal part is wet. And then you just brush your teeth. You don't even need toothpaste, actually. And like your breath goes from being bad to good. But I still like to use the Sonicare just because I'm used to the toothpaste thing anyway, natural toothpaste. And the key is make sure it's wet and your finger's wet and it's placed on this metal piece like that. And then you don't even need to push hard. You just got to go like this. And it's more about the longer you do it versus the harder you do it. When we first got these toothbrushes, Angela used it. And she came running in saying, Matt, you're not going to believe this. Like, you know, when I go to the dentist and I can feel the spaces in between my teeth because they take those picks and they go in between everything and like that. And it just feels so different. I used this ionic toothbrush once and I felt the same. She says she felt the same thing. So that night I was excited to try it and I did it and I couldn't believe how white my teeth were and I couldn't believe like I could feel the exact same, the spaces in between my teeth and everything like that. I didn't know how to use it at the time. I did the wet finger thing, but I was like pushing really hard and for a very long period of time I was just really curious and like it was just very crazy. So it's very magical, this toothbrush, and it just removes the yellow. Like, I mean, if you have like really bad stained teeth, all my stained teeth have always been from like green powders or green juices or whatever. So I never really drank coffee or anything like that. So from my experience, but it's crazy. Everyone's writing in saying how white their teeth are. So I know it's working. So what you do is you go to the rawfoodworld.com, you type in ionic toothbrush, or you just go to the oral care category. And we have extra heads too. There's a button here that You don't really need to push. It just makes sure, this last 2 years, the button just shows you that it's still working. But you know, you don't have to press that to make the toothbrush work. You just got to make sure that your finger is wet on the metal piece. So like while you're like brushing your teeth and you're putting the toothbrush underwater, just make sure you do that with your finger here. Yeah. People are even using it for their pets. I asked them because someone asked about their pets, and they're like, "Yeah, you could do that. You gotta make sure your finger's on it, and then you're touching your paw's pet or something, their paw or something like that, and it works on animals too." So yeah, this is a very incredible invention, and if you haven't gotten one, I would definitely go get one at therawfoodworld.com. So yes, I'm at peace. I'll probably alter my newsletter a little bit. That's going to go out to my newsletter list just so I don't freak everybody out like I did on Facebook. And I'll probably share this video with it so they can actually see my continents and stuff like that. Anyway, I guess that's good enough. I hope everybody's doing well. Know that I'm good. I'm in peace. I'm happy. Still doing day by day, you know. Sometimes I'm just like, I can't function in terms of like I'll just eat and then I'm just like out. And then like my kids come home or something and I'm like woken up and I just can't move and I'm just like slammed. Like that happens to me sometimes. And then on the other hand, I'm like, I can't sleep. Not, I could actually sleep, but like I'm just like wide awake doing stuff. It's just wild. And then there's just the whole like digestive going to the bathroom thing that just like sucks. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Much love to everybody. Mwah.